Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and a very good morning. His Excellency Mr. Takahashi Katsuhiko, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, Mrs. Asma Sainkoji, Head of Unodc in Malaysia, Deputy Commissioner General of Malaysia Prison, Mrs. Santi, representatives from Ministry of Home Affairs, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Malaysian Prison Department, I sincerely welcome His Excellency Mr. Takahashi Katsuhiko, Japan Ambassador to Malaysia Prison Department. I believe this is your first visit and it is going to be most memorable moments for us. Selamat datang, His Excellency. To Mrs. Asma Sainkoji and members of Unodc and delegates from Embassy of Japan, welcome to Malaysian Prison Department. As we are facing COVID-19 pandemic throughout the world, Prison Department has taken steps to contain the spread within the prison by implementing certain measures and SOPs. So far, we have managed this pandemic well. Malaysian Prison Department has been working together with Unodc since 2019. Thank you, Ms. Asma. We are engaged in cross-regional trainings, sharing of information and knowledge. Recently, Malaysian Prison Department together with Unodc and ICRC ventured into the translation of Nelson Mandela Rules e-learning module into Bahasa Malaysia. The Nelson Mandela Rules e-learning module is being used among our officers. Within the past 2 months, almost 6,000 prison officers has successfully completed this module. Malaysia Prison Department is also pleased and honored to have a representative in Unodc in Malaysia. Today, Malaysian Prison Department is honored to receive contribution of COVID-19 prevention equipment from Japan through United Nations Office of Drug and Crime. I highly appreciated this assistance and contribution, and we are looking forward of having more collaborations and partnership with Japan and Unodc in other areas. This equipment, which consists of 20,000 units of COVID-19 antigen test self-test kit and 5,000 units of surgical isolation coverall suit with boot cover, will be distributed to 19 prisons across Malaysia with high outbreak, and I believe this item will be put in a good use for the well-being of inmates and staffs. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia Prison Department is actively involved in community correction by engaging in smart collaborations and partnership with organizations that are willing to work together with us to rehabilitate and provide second chance to the inmates in order to return them back into the society as a productive and law-abiding citizen. Here, I would like to proudly share with you His Excellency Malaysia Prison Department and Panasonic Appliance Air Conditioning Malaysia, a Japanese industry. In Malaysia, I engaged in smart partnership via corporate smart internship program for inmates under parole, which involved about 1,000 inmates since 2019. Thank you very much for the continuous support from Japan government. It is a model of community correction center that we are going to expand more in the near future. Once again, my heartfelt appreciation and our special thanks to UNODC. And our respected donor, the Embassy of Japan, your generosity is a virtue. We highly appreciate it. With that, I end my remarks and thank you very much once again. Thank you.
From Office Malaysia to deliver her remarks, please.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum and selamat pagi everyone. His Excellency Mr. Takahashi Katsuhiko, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, Honorable Dato Haji Nordin bin Haji Mohammed, Commissioner General of Malaysia Prisons, senior officials of the Malaysia Prison Department, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to warmly thank Dato Haji Nordin bin Haji Mohammed and his office for organizing this handover ceremony and to extend my sincere gratitude to His Excellency Mr. Takahashi Katsuhiko, Ambassador of Japan, for gracing us with his presence today. In recent weeks, our collaboration with the MDP has expanded on the great satisfaction of both parties. It is within the framework of this solid partnership that we are all gathered today. UNODC mandate is indeed to assist countries in reforming their criminal justice system in accordance with human rights principles and United Nations norms and standards, such as the Nelson Mandela rules. As a part of his mandate, UNODC has for decades provided support to prison system in Southeast Asia, including equipment, capacity building in prison officers, and advice on non-custodial measures to combat prison overcrowding. Excellency, Honorable Dato, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, while the impact of COVID-19 is severe worldwide, marginalized groups are particularly affected by the pandemic. This is even more apparent in places like prisons. Convicted and remand prisoners are among the most vulnerable to viral contagion because they are held in a high-risk environment. In most cases, places of detention are not adapted to deal with large-scale epidemics, and basic protective measures such as social distancing and hygiene rules cannot be observed as quickly as on the outside, exposing prisoners to greater health risks. From the outset of the pandemic, UNODC and other agencies have emphasized the need to fully integrate prisons, inmates, and prison staff into countries' overall public health response to COVID-19. In particular, UNODC has committed to working with national prisons and correctional services in more than 50 countries to support them in their effort to strengthen infection prevention and control measures and to ensure continued compliance with minimum prison standards. In this regard, and since the outbreak of the pandemic, our office has received substantial support from the government of Japan to contribute to the effort of Southeast Asian member states in addressing the pandemic. This morning, UNODC is profoundly thankful to the Japanese government for providing COVID-19 medical prevention equipment to Malaysian prisons, comprising 20,000 units of antigen saliva self-testing kits and 5,000 units of surgical isolation suit with boot covers. We are confident that these medical supplies will contribute to the national efforts already underway to prevent and maintain good health in all prison population combined. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
to Ms. Asma Sintosh, Coordinator University Program in Malaysia, for her remarks. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I invite His Excellency Mr. Takashi Katsuhiko, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, to address us. Please.
Assalamu alaikum. Honorable Dr. Haj Nuruddin bin Haj Muhammad, Commissioner General of Malaysian Prison, Mrs. Azma Sankuje, Head of UNODC in Malaysia, distinguished guests, Tuan Tuan Dan Puan Puan. I'd like to begin by extending my heartfelt congratulations for today's handover ceremony of COVID-19 prevention equipment to the Malaysian Prison Department. I would like to take this opportunity to commend the UNODC and the Malaysian Prison Department for their hard work and untiring efforts in bringing this project to this stage. Japan has continuously contributed to UNODC's activities to support and assist various countries, including Southeast Asian countries. Today's handover of COVID-19 prevention equipment is part of Japan's grant aid assistance amounting to approximately $6.4 million, which was contributed in 2021 for Southeast Asian countries. In Malaysia, overcrowding in prison has been a key challenge for many years. This has resulted in the emergence of COVID-19 clusters in the prisons, thus affecting a number of prison inmates and the staff. Therefore, we recognize the importance of preventing COVID-19 infections inside Malaysian prisons. I sincerely hope that the equipment handed over today will contribute to solving this problem. Ladies and gentlemen, due to the strong ties between Japan and Malaysia, Japan has supported various countermeasures implemented by the government of Malaysia against the COVID-19 pandemic. For example, Japan has donated approximately 1 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccines to Malaysia in July last year to boost the country's vaccination rate. In addition to the bilateral assistance, Japan has also provided support to Malaysia via international organizations such as the UNODC. We wish to further support and cooperate with Malaysia to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, which is still very much a threat to the world after more than 2 years since the beginning of this pandemic. Today's handover of the COVID-19 prevention equipment to Malaysia signals a new level of cooperation between Japan and the criminal and judicial authorities of Malaysia, including the prison department. So far, Japan has conducted training courses on criminal and judicial matters in the United Nations Asia and Far East Institute for the Prevention of Crime and the Treatment of Offenders, or what we call UNAFE, which is a UN regional institute established in Japan by agreement between the United Nations and the government of Japan. We have welcomed more than 180 trainees from Malaysia for training at this institute so far. Additionally, we have strengthened our relationship via mutual visits of senior officials to each countries. We hope to continue our cooperation in criminal and judicial matters with the relevant Malaysian agencies, including the prison department. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to say that UNODC is one of Japan's most important partners in countering terrorism and transnational organized crimes. The government of Japan has supported Southeast Asian countries through UNODC, not only on issues related to prisons, but also in other areas such as criminal and judicial matters, preventing and countering drug offenses, terrorism and violent extremism, as well as maritime law enforcement. We are willing to continue contributing and assisting countries in the region in various areas such as health, security, and maritime safety, including contributions via UNODC and other international organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, this year marks the 65th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Japan and Malaysia, and also the 40th anniversary of the Look East policy. I hope the relationship between Japan and Malaysia will continue to develop further through our joint efforts to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic with the help of international organizations such as UNODC. Last but not least, I would like to extend my sincere hope for everyone to stay safe and in good health during this difficult time. Let us work hand in hand to contain and recover from the COVID-19 pandemic together. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。and terima kasih.